You very much, Gassan. It is, I have to say, probably the most important thing we need to discuss is of all, there are 9 maps in the pool. Liquid could have gone to any of the 8 they wanted to. Well, not any of the 8, but they had their pick, right? And they have decided, through this ban phase, to give Los the one map they have won inside of South America League so far. And not just a map that they won, a map that they won 7-3 over a team that currently has 13 points. Ollie, I know you have the Liquid tingles, but I am a little nervous.
That's all part of the Liquid tingles, don't worry. That's a very normal side effect. I can actually send you a list of side effects if you'd like. It's very all-inclusive.
I was about to say, given the things Liquid have done to their fans over the past 7 years, it's probably actually gone through pretty rigorous pharmaceutical testing.
It's been tested. Side effects.
There's a lot of data,
basically. There is data. There's certainly some data.
What do they need to improve? Everything.
Everything. Yeah. What are the side effects? All of them.
Bans have gone through. Ollie, big shock. Double hard breach denial ban on Night Haven. Pretty standard.
Double shield ban.
That actually is surprising. I gotta give
fairly standard. Like, you know, you're gonna force the Monty out. I respect it. I can already see it's going to be a clash Monty for the bans at the end of round 3. That's just what it will be. Let's see how Liquid do on the attack. A lot of their a lot of their success on Consulate last week, and it's a game that we'll reference probably quite a few times because they did look really good in comparison to the rest of the stage. It was only last week, and it was a game that we did, so I guess just sorry but not sorry. It's one that we will reference quite heavily. A lot of the success came through very confident plays, a lot of early map control, and some good early aggression as well. And they use their drones to great effect to gain that. Now, Night Haven Labs is very different to Consulate. There's not a lot of places you can just sort of hop in and make something happen. You've very often got to play a bit of a long, drawn-out utility game. One of the benefits of banning both the hard breach deniers is that you're going to be able to get the walls open easier, but it leaves open an Azami, which is an absolute nightmare on this map.
Playing the exact position Legacy's playing right now, at least on this site in particular. Making Garage very, very difficult to take if you're the attacking team. Gotta have a lot of utility to deal with all those Kibas. And Resets, a minute in, has already used every single one of his Rotero drones. Loud could never. Very efficient utility use. Well, I don't know if it's efficient. For all I know, those Rotero drones went nowhere. But assuming they actually hit targets, very efficient utility usage early on. With the soft wall, now opened up just a little bit. Very deep line being held by that player on Repel. Nesk also pushing in quite aggressively inside of IT, but Akiba will allow Mr. Outlaw to swing around and contest Nesk. DMR might be able to do away with that position, but this Brava's going nowhere and should probably be very thankful they put Mr. Outlaw as low as he has.
You just worry what's next for Liquid because there's been quite a stall out here. Yeah, you've got the breach open. Looks like we're getting some flashes in onto the balcony. Nesk is still locked in holding this angle. Reset's trying to hit the backside on those fish stairs. Maya could look to try and walk up and make something happen.
Oh.
Isn't going to need to, though. Nesk just walks in the breach and absolutely domes Arthur.
Ooh. Now from the backside. It's looking like a very simple attack from Team Liquid. Start wrapping around the site. Pulling it in close and giving one long kiss goodnight. Liquid with their first on the board. Seemed a bit weird. Can't blame them for getting the W.
Well, they really didn't try and overcomplicate it too much, did they?
No,
they got the breach open.
I was getting psyched out by it.
Yeah. It was opposing what they did last week. Last week, it was all about getting into the building, getting an opening pick, getting the plant down. That was very much just... That looked like a really patient EU team, almost. Like, we're just going to open it and we're going to wait for the defenders to get itchy feet. They'll move. They always do. And sure enough, they moved. Or they just couldn't watch everything at once. They applied really good pressure from multiple angles. Maya did a great job baiting at the bottom of Garage and throwing up those stuns. Really working together. There were 3 players working together for that catwalk play, because as soon as the catwalk falls, that's it, it's game over. I was quite surprised to not see Ask actually bullying that catwalk player, but he was, I don't really know where he was. We didn't get a great visual on where he was playing in that round. But Liquid get it done, and they get a first one on the board.
We did see the Monty in play as well. So, was a shield. But kind of something we talked about last game. The Blitz and the Blackbeard both have kind of their very defined roles, whereas the Monty can be a bit slower, and just because Liquid are bringing the shield as we just saw, they can play things a lot slower. The shield will change hands. It was Ask last time, now it's Resets bringing up the full extended shield of that Bontaine. But a Ying and a Glaz in the lineup really excites as to what we might see. We don't have, well, I mean, obviously we have the Thermite, but, you know, a lot of the times, Ollie, feel like on this site, we see the Maverick and the Glass, for example, but no, instead, going for the smoke, Monty pushing in deep, not with the diffuser, drawing a lot of intention, but Ask right before he puts that diffuser down, gun up will demolish Arthur holding that angle, and Legacy has made his stand, and not only is it not prevented the diffuser from going down, he stepped out from behind it and immediately died. Mr. Outlaw and Farius both will try to mount a retake down Exo Stairs, which is firmly in the hands of Maya, a player that I'd be shaking in my boots, that I might have to have the unfortunate luck of facing the moment I make this rotate. There's 1, there's 2, add that up, you get 3 overall. And what's this? 4 bodies over Kurtz, a 1v5? Well, make that a 1v3, since the Monty's got his gun down. But if we were looking at a slow Liquid in round 1, boy, I felt like I was right back on console at that one.
You could almost call that a flawless round. Almost, not quite.
I'm not. No, yeah, I'm not giving you that.
No nibble, no bite.
No. We're not fishing today.
I'll just do my job then. So, Liquid in round 2. It was out of the playbook from Consulate, wasn't it? That was exactly the kind of explosive play that we saw. I love how they've brought it in that round where they've recognized, guys, the site looks a little bit light here. We've got no real way of denying the breach. We can get this open. Let's not have the Monty plant. Instead, we'll have the Thermite plant, and we'll let the Monty just go through, bully, and gather information. At the point where Clash places the shield down, you kind of feel like the round is over at that point, because what are you really going to do? Like, you're better off keeping that shield up, gathering information, and at least guaranteeing that people get back to the site safely. I think that's something that teams do quite often when a quick plant goes down, is there's a big overreaction. And in reality, you kind of need to wait for everyone to get back to the same place, then to mount it as an equal 5 versus 5, 5 versus 4, whatever it might be. Try and stack some numbers back in your favor, because if they've got the plant down, it's probably because things are a little bit light over on the site, and that was definitely the case there in round number 2. Liquid now leaving us guessing. Are they going to play quick? Are they going to play slow? Are we back to a Liquid that can play at any level and can just match the pacing of a game perfectly?
Well, and leaving us guessing is whatever, you know. It's our job to have to ask those questions. But there's one team or 5 people in this lobby that are gonna be guessing, and you feel really bad for them, and that's Los. Because now Liquid are gonna keep them guessing. They've played slow, they played fast, they won it both times, and Los are not gonna entirely know what is coming their way. There's not many advantages to sucking for as long as Liquid have this stage, but one advantage is if you start doing well, and you start doing well in different ways, it's not exactly like teams have a lot of VOD of you being well or doing well in recent history. Most don't entirely know what to expect.
Nearly a nice entry there. Arthur gets put down pretty low. Already the plan going down.
Oh, not again.
So Nest just hopped in, getting the plan down. He's going to die for it, but it just doesn't matter. You've still got a Monty in this post plan, and you've got everybody posted up outside. You're just going to walk out of the breach. Okay, Mr. Outlaw finds 1. Still a player still a player detected outside. That's a big distraction. Where's the body that's going for the defuse? There it is. Arthur starting to get that defuse off. And players for Liquid are dropping like flies. A much better retake from Lost this time. Nipping it in the bud that Liquid can't just hop in and get a plant down willy-nilly.
You got to give a lot of credit to Nesk on having the confidence to stick that defuse. I genuinely cannot believe that, as he basically almost got smoked at the perfect time. Was like, nope, I've got it. I've got it. That's years of instinct built up right there, or just luck. Could be the other. Could be either one. But I'll choose to give Nesk the respect by naming it the former. But then as Ask hops out that window, tries to get set up in the post plant position, you gotta give a lot to Farius there. Sure, I mean, you obviously have players, finding angles from different windows, but Farius going on that run out and keeping the attackers so concerned about just taking the normal line on that window. Just holding that position, swinging around to try and get an angle on the diffuser. Farius didn't even kill the Montaigne, but just by being that pressure and also not overextending his hand, just playing behind the shipping crate, you could clearly see it upset Liquid, and then we didn't see it, but then a Kiba barricade on the window, I believe, as well, to give the Warden cover to go for the defuse. It was a really nice retake, but got to give it to Los, of course, as a whole for committing to the retake a lot more aggressively and quickly than they did before, but also I just really liked what Farius did, somehow running out and not overextending while you're outside the building.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was a great example of just being a massive distraction. And it's even better because when the attack is scared about players that they don't know the location of, you quite literally know his location, and it's even more terrifying for some reason. And you've got tons of other things to watch at the same time. Lost are going to have to get pretty good at that if Liquid continue to play in that fashion. I don't think they necessarily needed to go for anything too quick there, and they didn't really have the lineup to do anything quick either. It's not like they brought a Grim or a Glaz or a, Capita or a Ying or anything like that. They were just trying to felt like they were trying to make it happen in a lot of ways. Got a few more tools this time in round 4. No surprise to see those bans come in as the Azami and the Monty. It's either going to be the Clash or the Azami, and I think the Azami does hold a little bit more value here for Lost, so that being removed will make places like Catwalk a little bit easier to take. That's going to be Liquid's intention in this round.
More util clear from resets. Saw him expend those Rotero drones pretty quickly on the previous side, but as Liquid are not looking to push everybody through IT like they tried to do before. It's a bit more spread out, trying to get a lot more options, and with how effective these Rotero drones and these clutch drones have been, finding the Banshee IT, the Banshee atop Aqua, the BP top Aqua as well, all of which are just the ones we saw. Really, really nice work. Like that air jab from Maya as well, especially with no impact grenades on the board. I don't think anybody's going to burn a C4, but it will make Maya feel really comfortable pushing up to the top of these rafters.
That's going to open things up, and the Capital Fire just displaces Legacy off the mirror window, allowing people to walk up that catwalk, destroy the mirror, and continue taking a bit of control. Liquid have an advantage here, and they've got quite a long time to work with it. A C4 unsuccessful from below. Nesk is still just trying to hold an angle through into A site. Maybe looking a little bit one-dimensional at the moment, and you do sort of wonder what's Liquid's way in here. Is it just off the back of Nesk's gun skill?
The answer is yes. If you were curious, the answer, as you can see, was yes. 3 kills to start from Nesk, 2 to finish off that round from Ask. A flawless for Liquid. As I was just thinking, and as you said, Ollie, there's a lot of people over on this IT side again. That seems a bit risky. Well, right when they needed it, right when they needed something extra, Ask hits the backstab that was set up all the way at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, he'd cleared out the BP with the Rotero right at the start, so it was a freebie to walk in. I mean, Liquid are doing quite a lot with very little if you really think about it. What have they done there? They've taken Breach, they've got into Catwalk, and then a late round backstab through Aqua Double. It's not loads, is it? It's not like they've had a really complicated, utility exchange and connector or electrical or any of those sort of places. It's been fairly straightforward, and I'm surprised to not see Lost just recognize that and tuck in. Find places in the site that you're not going to expose yourself to Nesk. Give yourself a few more advantages.
Didn't even use another floor. We've seen Maya go on Deimos on other sites, the one site they lost, to apply some vertical pressure from below. And on second floor, probably the site, not only where you would use Deimos to do that, but the site I have seen Liquid do that. Though I think that it was often Palu who would go below and try to pressure people around electrical with the Deimos inside of first floor. They're just like, no, don't need to. Don't need it. We're all good. It's all. Is it the kind of game plan that I think will work against some of the best teams of the league? No, but you're just trying to find your footing. You're trying to recover, and Los are clearly allowing this to happen. Even if they're not taking direct 1v1s with Nesk, they're exposing themselves to positions that he has been looking at for quite a long time. And similar to last game with ENX, where you're just looking to find anything, just put something on the board to make it closer and make you catch a little bit up to Furia. That's what both of these teams need right now. Liquid at 5 and Los at 4. This is very much a game of who can put their foot in the other's face and climb to, not even to the top of the heap, but just a little bit higher up on what is a pile and a bar that is rapidly escaping both of these teams.
Just crawl up the heap a little bit further.
The battle of the
more of an
downtrodden.
extension. It really is. I was just looking back over some of Loss's lineups in the previous few rounds because I just felt like something was missing, you know? Something with a bit of heat to it, maybe.
Nagging at you.
Someone that's maybe a little bit green.
Oh, not Tachanka then.
No, the Goyo.
Castle 90 HP.
I mean, that's crucial right now. Ooh, reset's just over half, though, which is of note. But there's been no Goyo play from Loss.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's intentional or if they're, I assume they're not forgetting it, but Liquid are taking a lot of space here. Kurtz with a great pick there onto Ass, just responding to that earlier opener. We do have the Clash just hanging around at the top of these Exo stairs as well, but it isn't stopping Liquid from operating.
Somehow finding ways through it. Ooh, nice C4 by Arthur. Tossed from the depths will land right at the Ace's feet. Those for the first time really feel like they're keeping it consistent against Liquid. They were able to repel a post plant, so it's not like it's the first time Los have looked competitive, but it still resulted in Liquid getting a pretty big win in terms of control and pressure. And now, as Liquid make 1 inch of progress into this map, there is a Los defender looking to stop them at the gates. Resets around the corner, 4-0 at the moment. Will find one. It's the Clash. They will meet each other, make eye contact through the floor, but this is a Clash that is not like she used to be. Having to switch the shield, put it on her back to get the gun out. Legacy can plant his feet, put that shield down, almost use it like a mirror window. I don't think the 2 barbed wire will be all that useful. Maybe some good luck charm. As Resets pushes in, spots the Clash again. We'll try to move into the opposite site. Smokes go out to deny the line of sight. Now we go. Got 1 drone in pocket if he wants to throw it for intel later on, but now Legacy will push in, start shocking. We'll try to bait the Brava off as Resets looks to commit to a push. Legacy just has to dodge it just for 7 seconds! But he catches himself on his own rotate hole! He could have kited them for a full 7 seconds, but stuck inside of the site gives Resets the angle.
In a 1 versus 1, as a shield, distance is your friend. You have to maintain distance between you and the attacker in the case of it being a Clash. You cannot let that attacker break that distance and close that ground because you will just get smashed. Boom with a melee, the shield goes to the side, and that needs to happen twice. Sometimes even once, depending on how much HP you're on. One of the benefits that Liquid had in that clutch was the amount of time. Because they're moving quite quickly through the early part of the round, they're not struggling for time when it comes down to the late portion. There was a whole minute for that clutch. That 1 versus 1, there was plenty of time for anything to happen. It was a great idea to throw the smoke, bait the plant, break up that line of sight for the Clash, and force that distance closure. Another good round there from Liquid. Even if the opening didn't go sort of peachy smooth, it was still a round that they're going to chalk up. And Loss, I mean, they really need some answers. They've taken the time out. They're stuck in the ways with this sort of with this lineup that they're bringing. They're bringing the FNAT, they're bringing the Legion, they're bringing the Mirror nearly every time. And I just don't really see what it's giving them at the moment.
It doesn't feel like they've got it right now. And I don't mean like one particular thing. It just doesn't. You don't feel anything looking at any of this. Even that 1v5, which was nice, not 1v5, but even that post plant, right? That flawless round that Los won in round 3. Like, we're still able to get the diffuser down. We're still able to get that control, and Los won the fights, but since then, it's like Liquid are pushing an IT. Alright, well, Los will try to stop us and we'll kill him. That's fine. Oh, resets us into 1v1 with the Clash. Okay, well, as the Clash, I'm gonna slowly walk back, like you always see the Shield players do, and then I'm gonna stop moving and allow him to catch up. Ollie was talking smack about NAL, but I didn't see Fultz make that mistake last week. That's all I'm saying.
I was only joking about NAL.
I wasn't. I don't play about my region. Ooh, Kurtz, hello. Go back down.
All the slower rounds for Liquid, really. Looks like the Track Stingers aren't going to be successful the second time either. Meyer isn't finished with this.
That's just the third set of Track Stingers.
He's a curious cat, isn't he? Oh, Neska's been domed!
He has been holding that angle every single time.
It is his angle, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. We certainly did not. I'm certainly feeling things this round. I apologize, Los. What do you do here?
You just got to play. I mean, you've still got 50 seconds, so you kind of just got to play for a pick. You've got to hope that somebody gets a little bit antsy. There's still 2 C4s for loss right now.
Oh,
Player
Kurtz.
moving up Aqua eventually gets taken out. Myers found his one. Just so happens that 3 of his teammates also managed to perish.
Oh!
Some good damage found and some good information on the site. It's going to give them points of damage, but not a confirm. 20 seconds left or so. Going to be time to start flipping their attention, but with how little has happened in this map, it's going to be very difficult for them to go into anything other than a single doorway, a double doorway, or a window.
Okay, well, Maya will find one. They've recovered the diffuser. Yes, has got to be absolutely lethal on this coverage. Oh, but they rotate to the site. Legacy is just moved to. Not really spoiled for choice, unfortunately. Liquid left with bad options and worse ones. All it gets is a 2-4 half for low, still in the disadvantage. If that Clash plays a little bit better, it's a tie game.
And it's crazy to think as well, because you think about the early couple of rounds and Liquid were dominant. Loss have warmed up a little bit, but I feel like Liquid were just really trying to walk in that last round. They weren't... I never really saw the full vision of what they were trying to accomplish. Sucks for Maya, though. He won every engagement in 3 versus 4. You just get the feeling that if he had a little bit more time and a bit more support around him, it could have gone very differently. And we'd be potentially looking at a 5-1 half here for Liquid. Still, a 4-2 is very good. And I would argue that it is an improvement, certainly of the Liquid that we've seen in previous weeks in the stage. As we enter the second half of the game now, we still have a double shield ban, and we have half of an electrification ban. So we have the Cade removed, Bandit will be available, but the Mirror has gone instead. No surprise to see Liquid target the shields, and Arthur has immediately picked onto the Blackbeard, where he will likely remain for the next few rounds until it gets removed. But no Bandit ban. Does give the option for Liquid if they want to, although they haven't chosen it here in round 7.
Didn't see them play it much in their game against FaZe, even though it was available. FaZe actually banned very little Harbridge on that game, just the Tuberow, that was it. Yet Liquid didn't really run much Cade, no Bandit at all. It would be very valid prep work for Los to be like, yeah, you know, we'll ban the Cade for comfort, but we're not really worried about anything else. Be consistent with what Liquid did previously, but depending on how these defenses go, it was, I mean, talk about that Conflict game. It was a bit of a weird one in that there was a lot of that lead created on the attacking side, but Liquid did still win 3 defenses. And with how well Maya was doing that day overall, I'd be scary leaving him a tool like the Valkyrie.
Yeah, you're always going to be leaving some tools available, aren't you? Maya on a Valkyrie sounds pretty scary. And Azami also sounds pretty scary on labs. Really is going to be the lesser of a few evils. It's like Loss are making handy work on getting the breaches open, though. Arthur is kind of poised and ready to make a little walk up backside as well. It looks as though, for the meantime, Loss are trying to set themselves up. Nice little drone network, get some flanks covered. And Arthur can start to push in now, in and around the meeting area and through into Connector. I don't think Connector has been opened yet, and it is going to be castle barricaded as well, so it's going to be a primary focus. Has the wall to the site been left half soft as well? It has. But no mirror. So kind of difficult to play off, and definitely more of you're just going to be throwing things through there. There is a C4 ripped and ready if Arthur does choose to charge through, but it looks like it's just a utility clear for the time being.
There are also no pocket reinforcements for Liquid, so that hole in the wall will remain the entire duration of the round. If Liquid start losing control on that side of the map, they could find it working against them very quickly. But Los so far have not really found much secure. No clean way into this setup so far, so the utility goes out. Arthur will try his lot inside a garage. Look at this fortress that's been set up by the defense, by the Azami. 2 defenders sitting behind that Kiba. Diaz picks up the first. Mr. Outlaw going down. All his utilities been placed. But with how much is still in Los's way, how little they've been able to affect change against this Kiba setup. An advantage favoring Liquid feels a lot more daunting than a 5v4 already does. What a backstab by Kurtz. This hole that's been left soft in the wall. It could completely dismantle Liquid if he finds the right timing, finds the right engagements, but will Los be able to make enough progress on the opposite side? Ass-catching Arthur. Everybody coming from Garage and IT. Kurtz finds one, but the other leg of it, it's all fallen, but still they find a way through. 15 seconds, 1v1, but on 1 HP. Resets with his own backstab, sitting inside of Electrical! Has completely slipped into the Ash's blind spot, retrod the same path, and learned from the best to get Liquid's first defense.
How has Resets made it into Electrical there? Like, Curtis has literally just moved through it. Oh, honestly, I thought it was over when it was becoming such a one-dimensional push. Then you see the flank from Curtis and you think, oh, there's potential here. But I think Lost just had too many things that didn't go their way in the early portion of that round. They really struggled with a lot of that utility clear. Those Kibas, like, you need to be bringing the Flores if you're going to be leaving his army up. You need to be bringing something to deal with those Kiba barricades because you can't afford for them just to be left there. The Mute Jammers caused a massive headache there for Lost. There was a Selma placed on the electric wall, the wall interconnector into site, and the Selma was just buzzing away on it because the Mute Jammer had never been cleared from it. Just a couple of little things, really simple pieces of utility that have really slipped Loss up there. And you kind of question what they brought and think, well, it wasn't really the best tool for the job, was it? Because you kind of didn't get where you needed to be with it. And I'm not saying that if they'd have, solved all that utility issue, then they would have won the round, but they would have put themselves in a much better position other than relying on just a really sort of late flank to work off, because I mean the late flank nearly worked, but Liquid had the man count, and if Resets is dug in and full HP and is able to make a little move of his own, not going to be an easy player to tie down.
Liquid picking up a key round.
Gotta reload.
Low showing they could shoot back, and Liquid just still shut them out of it. Denied them any fruit of that effort, albeit very late and very singular effort. Coming from only a couple players on the roster. Now Liquid doing a very loose roam around the top floor. Will try to look to apply, not necessarily probably some direct pressure, but Nesk's looking to just deny some intel. Raise questions in the mind of Los. Furious, look to hold that cutoff inside a garage. Nesk does not have to go that way. In fact, the safer option would be down Aqua, but he's spotted. And I was actually wrong. The safest option is through the hatch opened all the way at the beginning of the round. Maya, who's also been creeping around this top floor, finds one. He's dropped down to the middle floor, too. We've got 4 defenders. All... Is that all 5? No, we still got 1 down below.
Nice little loose roam from Liquid, isn't it? Loose roam, pick up a kill. They do lose Ask. This utility has been placed. The big difference already in this lineup is that Liquid are bringing the Goyo. That's going to claw back vital seconds later on into the round. Nesk is still way out of the picture. And is unlikely to affect onto the site directly. Instead, he's going to be looking at timing a nice little flank or catching an attacker, excuse me, as they make a rotation. The longer he goes unnoticed for, the better. There's always the worry that the attackers will just hit the site when they realise they have a bit of an advantage, but I don't feel like Loss are in that position right now. Pull out in the Goyo, trying to get rid of that Vulcan pack. That'll start to dissipate now, but Nesk's movements here, he can be crispy with it. There are quite a few cameras available, it is worth saying, for Loss, and you can see those get inflicted by Arthur. So there's a chance he'll get seen on the cams, but if anyone's able to react is a different question entirely.
You want to be careful, though. It is a 4v4 with low time, but Los are committing, and now is the time for Nesk to strike. If Mr. Outlaw's watching flank, that's a gun that's not on the site. For attackers and defenders actually down on the basement floor, it will be even odds against even guns. Outlaw caught with a flash in hand, anticipates the flank, but Nesk catches him off guard, retakes the vert, runs out of ammo, but it's fine. That's why you have teammates. That's why you've got friends. 2 in a row for Liquid. 6-2, only 1 away.
Nesk might be back.
All right. Let's calm down.
No, he might be back.
No, Ollie.
Look, I've been a big Nesk skeptic for a long time.
That's true. I'll give you that.
And so for me to say that he's back is no small feat. Like, I'm not just throwing that out there, you know, for the fun of it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many.
Last week he went equal. He went 8-8. This week he's going 7-5. Let's not look at the amount of kills. Let's
7-5 against the
impact.
worst team in the league at the moment.
Let's look at the impact of those kills. He absolutely owned the IT angle upstairs on the attack, playing Hibana. Playing Hibana, by the way, quite a difficult gun.
Held it 3 rounds in a row, then he just got pre-fired the 3rd time because the defense was like, hey, Nesk has been here every time.
It's 6-2. Then he pulls off the flank of the century.
That's
in
true,
a
I'll give
game
you
that
that
has
one.
already had good flanks in it. Like, hats off to Kurtz. Great flank. But the flanker got flanked in that instance. And Nesk has he's just come out of nowhere.
You could argue, though, that I think the Dokkaebi was... Mr. Outlaw was overcooking it a little bit with that flash.
Position secured.
I mean, potentially. But Nesk can only play on the field that's set for him.
What helps?
You know?
Helps when his opponent has decided to sit on his hands.
Just to numb him before he plays a game.
Yeah, exactly.
So he really can't feel those fingers.
I do see your point, though. I do see your point. He's had some good impact this game, and I do think that flank was really good in the impact that it had. Obviously, usually nothing is 100% brilliance. It usually is brilliance plus timing. You certainly cannot blame Nesk for doing well with an opportunity given to him, which is exactly what he did. Potentially the final round of this game against Liquid versus Los. Again, both teams down at the bottom. Los with 4, Liquid with 5. Neither will overtake Furia in 6th place, the gatekeeper of top 6. They're just looking to get to 7th, looking to keep it as close as possible to set them up in a good position in the next couple playdays.
Candela is going to go in. That's usually a signal of something happening. It's enough to bait out a C4. Don't think the C4 got popped instantly. Well, it will get popped there. We do have Deimos below as well, and with some nades coming into the site, it's becoming quite an uncomfortable place for Liquid. But a lot of utility has been sent, and not much has happened off the back of it. So Lost potentially trying to bait an overreaction there, or looking for something that maybe wasn't there in the first place. Spent 2 nades, or 3 nades, excuse me. And they've spent a couple of Candelas as well. There's Army to plug up the hole in the breach. There's going to be something else to deal with. I think if you look at the position of the diffuser all the way on the roof, you kind of see that whatever the plan A was didn't really work out, and instead they're going to opt for a bit more of a full clear. Nesk is going to come under some pressure here, but he deals with it handsomely.
Surface secured.
Fire 2. Oh my god. Okay, Nesk might be back. Alright, he might be back, guys. I might have spoke a little too soon. So, to give you the story of that round, as Arthur gets his one impactless frag, Los bet everything on hard pushing into the site. Nesk's third, by the way. Los bet everything on hard pushing into the site, and then one mute jammer. One mute jammer. Stop Diaz from getting Deathmark tracked, and he's also Warden. So he just looked through the Candelas, didn't care. Deathmark tracker got destroyed, didn't care. It was a really good setup from Liquid.